B-boy. From the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East Coast to the West, B-boys worldwide. We supposed to be blessed, still a B-boy.
B-boys and B-girls, we are back again this week with an interview episode. Another few weeks, we'll get back to roundtables. And joining me tonight, rapper who I just recently heard and blew me away. I became an instant fan. In the house tonight, Henny Holyfield. What's up, man?
What up, man?
So
Thanks for having me on your podcast.
No doubt. So I start every single interview with the same question, and that is, what are your first memories of hearing hip hop?
First memories. Man, I don't know exactly what point I got introduced to hip hop, but I know a standout moment in hip hop history was MC Hammer. He's definitely one of my inspirations because of just the amount of fun that he was having while he was making music. He dancing, and everybody dancing, he's smiling and flashing, you know what I'm saying? And so in my household, I wasn't necessarily allowed to listen to music that had the parental advisory sticker on it. And so Hammer was acceptable in my household, and I may have been introduced to it before that, but that is a standout moment in history to where I was like, yeah, this is it right here.
Yeah, and when that came out, I mean, it was everywhere, no doubt about it. A lot of people want to hate on him, but I'm glad Hammer's getting some love. I
mean, hey, not to his face though.
Exactly. No, I've always heard behind the scenes, like he's no joke, man.
Right. He come fresh.
So as you become a hip hop fan, who was some of your first favorite MCs? Like, who did you really look up to?
Definitely Tupac, man. Tupac is my GOAT. Definitely inspired, just the passion that was there. And it's crazy because I'll see people that talk about, the lyricism and how they wouldn't put Pac in like the top lyricist. It was just the way that he put it together, and it was storytelling. It was there was so much passion and just it was intensity in there and what he put together, and the storylines were just, it was beautiful, man. So Pac is at the top of my list. But honorable mentions, as we talk about Hammer, Heavy D was another favorite of mine. Heavy D was the man, again, having fun. He out there dancing, big boy jamming, you know what I'm saying? And I really gravitated towards him. Nas, Outkast, Exhibit, The Lox, Jada is a favorite. And then even like Tech-9 is somebody who I got introduced to, earlier in his career, and we followed him and very inspired by the work that he's done.
Yeah, interesting enough. Last week I interviewed Yuckmouth from the Loonies, and they were one of the first people to put Tech-9, give Tech-9 his first exposure outside of like Kansas City.
Oh yeah,
little Midwest area. He was way ahead of the curve on Tech-9, no doubt. At what point did you start thinking, maybe I can do this? When did you start writing, rhyming?
My junior year of high school. I gotta give roses to my older cousin anytime I talk about my beginnings, because he older cousin Alizé, he had already dabbled. He had a deal, and so he was really out there, doing shows and making music. And I want to say it's like the summer of my junior year, like right before my senior year. He told me what he was doing and showed me the fundamentals. And I was like, I like that. And it was a way to express myself. I had a lot of anger as a teenager. And so it was very therapeutic for me. But in that time though, and standout records were the Tupac Machiavelli, Don Illuminati, and Outkast AT-Aliens. And so much so that we were like writing the lyrics down, and that was what got me into practice for writing. We were writing the lyrics down and we would rap the songs and just enjoying it. And from that point, once I got the fundamentals, I started off. And we had a handheld tape recorder. These youngins would know nothing about, because you could do everything from your phone. But me and some homies, we got together. Well, I started writing with my cousin, but then me and my homies got together and we formed a group, and we started making songs over instrumentals on like the singles that people would sell. They'd have the instrumental version on there. We'd hit play on the cassette player and or record, and we made a nice 5-6 track tape.
The first tapes I made like in 1990 was I had one boombox here, and one boombox here that I'd play the beat from this boombox speaker into this boombox speaker as I'm rapping into the other. I mean, just ridiculous stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah.
That's dedication right there, though.
It was mad dedication because
You gotta respect the 4-track users and the people who
oh
were
yeah.
doing things of that nature, because again, it doesn't exist now. You don't have to struggle like that to make music anymore. It's a push of a button. You know what I'm saying? So that is where, the hustle came from that's involved in making music.
I always thought it weeded out the people who really did it for love.
Right.
Because now it's so easy. Like I can wake up in the morning and then have a million people have access to whatever song I made that day.
Right. Right.
When back in the day, I mean, you had to physically get the music to their hands.
Yeah. Out the trunk.
Kids will never understand. But no,
No.
like you bringing up Pac, it's like all these people who it's amazing his lasting power because so many of these people now weren't even alive when he was alive, which makes me feel old. But it's just it's a testament to yeah, I don't necessarily look at him as a lyricist like a Coogee Rap Big Daddy Kane, but like you said, the passion and the staying power that he has, even with people who weren't alive when he was. I think in 50 years he'll still be getting
I
rotation. So
still feel the same way when I listen
mhm.
to a Pac record. Me and Highway, while we were on the road, we had we listened to a whole lot of music. But Pac though was somebody that we both felt and damn near reciting every word, and still just as into it as I was when the shit came out. So it's still people still hold Pac here. You know what I'm saying? And the younger generation is not from that era, so they don't resonate with him as much. But the people from my era still feel the same way about Pac that they did back then.
How did you come up with the rap name Henny Holyfield? It's a good one.
Okay, thank you, sir. So originally my name was Hennessy, and again, I told you my cousin's name was Alizé, and he
Makes
had
sense.
that name, and so it was like, well, how can we coincide? And so here we get back to Pac, and I was talking to Highway on the road about this, and it's crazy that well, Pac references Alizé and Hennessy, but the record that I feel like may have inspired my name more than others is Checkout Time. You know what I'm saying? His last night was like fantasy, Alizé and Hennessy, who's you know what I'm saying? So he had the name, it resonated with him. I had started sipping by that time, so it made sense. Light skin, I'm dark skin. He likes fruitier drinks. I like the more hard stuff, and so it just made sense. And so I ran with it. I was Hennessy for years and years, all the way up until 2020, and that's when the pandemic hit. And so I had issues with all ages events and putting my name on the flyer, and they'd be like, can we do something else with your name? Can we make it him, a hen, something like that? You know what I'm saying? Not even hen. Like, let's get away from that so we don't look like we putting this type of energy on the bill with these kids out here. So I switched it up, make it him and stuff like that. And so that was, something that I thought about, and then spelling it exactly the way that the alcohol was spelled. I figured one day that Hennessy was gonna come after me,
Right.
but I didn't really mind because it was like, well, shit, if Hennessy come after me, then I must be doing something right. You know what I'm saying? But you know, the determining factor that made me change my name was that I went on Spotify one day and I had my Spotify profile up there, and under my top five were different artists by the name of Hennessy. There was EDM artists, some rap. There was tons of Hennessy's. You know what I'm saying? You imagine how popular the drink is. A lot of rappers want to name themselves after it. So I was like, okay, think it's time. I was getting ready to drop a project after a long time of putting it together, and I was like, maybe it's time for a change, a rebrand. But I don't want to just leave my name because it's attached to me. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of who I am. And so Alizé had just went through the changing of his name for copyright purposes, and he went and changed it to Alizé Ali. And so he was like, okay, let's do a project together. Yeah, and in the midst of us doing a project together, it's like, well, I got the Ali, you know what I'm saying? What do you think would work? And I played with some names and Holyfield, boom, it stuck. You know what I'm saying? I was like, that's it right there. And so that was just for the project and not just, and people be like, do you box? I'm like, nah, I ain't no boxer, but I do feel like I'm the people's champ. You know what I'm saying? The voice of the people. I do, do things for the community as much as I can, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like from the perspective I rap from, I do it for the motivation of my people. So it fits in my mind. I don't have to box, you know what I'm saying? But It was just that name for the project, and then when it came to releasing my project that I released in 2020, which is Clocked In, it was like, well, fuck it. We didn't already, change it for this project. Why don't I just go ahead and run with it, put it out there, and it works, man. You know what I'm saying? And I still get to be Henny. Some of my people still ain't gonna say Henny Holyfield. They not calling me that whole shit. I'm still Henny, whatever. I'm still the same
Right.
person, but for marketing purposes, there's only one. That you don't see any more Henny Holyfields. I'm the only one, and it just has a ring to it. So that's the storyline behind that.
No, it's actually really memorable. I mean, it's a name you'll remember because there are so
I,
many generic rap names out there because so many have been used already, like you said. So I want to talk about the grind of underground MCs. I talked about weeding out people who really. So I spent 25 years in a group on the underground scene in Milwaukee through the 90s into the 2000s. And 90% of the artists I encountered only lasted a few years because it's hard. You have to grind. You have to have some sort of love for it. Talk about the grind of having on the underground level, just having to go out there day after day, meet fans face to face, just the feeling of it.
it's rough, man. It's a beautiful struggle, but it's work. It's constant work. I remember just trying to push myself when I really first started rapping. I was in Davis, and I had moved to Texas for a year, and then I came to Davis, and I was kind of grinding out there. I hadn't really put much music out, but it was when I moved to Sacramento and just seeing how big the market was. It was then I decided, well, don't nobody really know who I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here trying to be heard, and nobody really knows me. So let me network. Let me connect with as many different artists as I can. Let's collab. Let's whatever it is, and try to tap into their fan bases, and just try to make myself known out here. And so I did that to the show grind. You know what I'm saying? And there was a lot of just performing in my early days at every venue. Before I even started getting booked for shows, I was performing at karaoke joints. You know what I'm saying? And that back then they still accepted CDs into their karaoke players. So I'll come in with my show CD. No, I don't want to sing anybody else's song. I got my own song. It's not gonna chase everybody up out of here. It ain't, super vulgar. But at the same time, it's mine, and I would like to, and some didn't let me, but certain ones did, and so that's how I kind of got comfortable being on stage. And from there, it was just like, okay, well, what's next? Open mics and different venues. Luckily, I had a venue in Sacramento that became like a home to me and allowed me to come in there and not only perform, but eventually I built up my relationship with them to be able to book my own shows and continue to move through the city and do as many shows as I could and continue to collaborate. And then the radio show opportunity fell in my lap, which we'll talk about in detail later. But that gave me an opportunity to network that much more. Now I'm seen in a different light. Now instead of just being a random artist who's trying to work with you, now I have this platform. So working with me could be beneficial to you because I got this platform and you could be a part of it. If we working together. And so, oh man, years and years of just pounding the pavement and just putting myself out there and doing the radio thing and juggling with the rap thing and then getting so caught up in the radio thing that it took away from my music. So I had to reroute and get
Sure.
back over here and make sure that I was still creating at the same time. And so oh man, it's it's been a struggle. It's been a long journey, but I can say that I wouldn't change none of it. I appreciate it. It's shaped me into the artist I am. It's made me appreciate the rewards that are coming in because I worked for it. I
Mhm.
earned it.
Yeah, and I had first heard you on the Flying High tour, which just wrapped up, and I'm going to get to that. But what really stuck out to me is your positive. You're doing positive hip hop, but you still were keeping it hip hop, and that can be a fine line sometimes.
Absolutely.
Very fine line. But I mean, I instantly was a fan. Was that a conscious decision? Did you kind of morph into that, or have you always kind of been on that line?
I had to morph there. I've never been a negative artist. I ain't killed nobody. I ain't, so no, you know what I mean? Like I ain't did none of that stuff. I'm not disrespecting women. Like that's not really, I've said a thing here too, here and there because of, certain situations, but just my overall, my flow has always been more clean than it has been negative. But when I first started off, I was I was Hennessy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you can imagine everything that comes with that. It's I was partying. And so a lot of my earlier music is partying, but also I was angry because I got a lot of childhood trauma. And so it was a lot of just letting that off and I needed to do that. And over the years, I started to, got a family
Grow
and
up.
things changed. I just matured, you know what I'm saying? That got out of my 20s, which was a crazy time in my life, and graduated and felt like I've gotten that out of me, out of my system. And I still like to enjoy myself. I still like to have a good time. But then start having kids, and my kids are listening and tuned in. I got my son in the video and stuff like that. And I can't have, my child in a video where we talking about, anything negative, you know what I'm saying? And so on my rebrand, I did a record called Win. And I had dabbled in some records here and there, but I feel like that record right there made me really understand like what I could do with this music and almost like my calling, like the way that record resonated with people. And I didn't even have no idea how it was going to do what it did. But when it did what it did, it was like, you know what, this could be my lane right here, And that doesn't mean that I'm a conscious rapper because I didn't necessarily want to be labeled a conscious rapper because I feel like that's, you're just always talking about, no, I
Mhm.
have bad days too, you know what I'm saying? And I have, situations that bother me and I'm passionate about. And if I feel the way, I'm gonna say exactly how I feel, the way I feel it. But at the same time, I made a conscious decision to make the majority of my music positive. And I saw the effect not only that it had on my children, but on like the older crowd, right? The crowd
Mhm.
that doesn't necessarily listen to hip hop. And I've had people come up to me and be like, you know what, I don't even listen to rap, but that
Mhm.
I can do that right there. And so I was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? That's changing people's perspectives. Like that's powerful right there. So why
Yeah.
not? Continue in that way. Maybe not all the time, and then maybe you got to skip past the track on my album. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I think that you will feel like you'll understand my vision, my mission, which is I feel like to motivate others.
It's very relatable because the majority of people listening to anyone's music isn't at a crack house selling drugs and shooting people, right?
Right.
So you're talking about relatable things to the average person. I think that's huge. And it's something that really stuck out to me because I am guilty, in a few years I'll be 50, right? So I grew up as hip hop grew up. I was there very early. And I sometimes think I got the old grumpy man syndrome. Like all these new rappers, they
Oh,
ruin the
I
hip
was
hop I grew
there.
up on. I hate them. They're ruining it all. I get grumpy as hell. It's terrible.
I've
But
been there.
it takes a lot to catch my ear in new artists usually. And you hook me instantly. That right away when you dope with a capital D, it had me listening because it wasn't
Mm.
just the same old thing. And I love that track. That whole EP, so dope. I mean, I probably listened to it over 50 times, more than
Come
that.
on. That's
Constant
what's up.
rotation that's been on. So
That's awesome. Thank you, sir.
the Flying High tour, you were with Highway. So how did you meet him? When did you guys start doing stuff together?
So Highway is met through not through a mutual friend, but he was connected to my radio co-host, Doe the Unknown. They had a group called the Gas Station. And I've met Doe and we connected on a personal level. I ended up meeting his group later on. I met Highway in Brooklyn. We did a team backpack cipher. And it was 2015, 16, one of the two. I can't remember which one exactly, but we were selected to go out to this event, Team Backpack, and we kind of, we knew each other through mutual people, and we said what's up. Didn't really have a whole complete conversation then, but fast forward, I ended up connecting with him and the group, and I booked them for some shows, and we had a relationship over the years. In 2022 we did a tour me and Highway and four other artists though as well. Did a tour that was supposed to be something and ended up not working out the way we wanted it to. And so we put our resources together and decided that, hey, we're not gonna let this stop us from getting out there and doing what we want to do. So we did the West Coast Love Tour, clicked up then and really, you know what I'm saying, got to be around each other. We made some music together. And that was, you know, that was the beginning of the relationship, I feel like. And then he started getting drafted to these tours. And so he went on tour with Mayday twice. And for the first tour, I believe I did a show, it was Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken. And we did that. And then there was another tour that he did, which was the Black Lemonade Tour, and I did Spokane and Kansas City. And so while on the road, you know, as he's out here touring, you know, we had some conversations. It was like, you know, he was like, you know, out of everybody that's doing stuff, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you're serious. I feel like you want it, you know. And so if we move forward, you know, I wouldn't mind putting something together with you. And then bam, this opportunity fell into his lap. What's up, Henny? You know what I'm saying? This might be it right here. And we still want to do something on our own, but this was huge to both of us. And so he hit me and was like, hey, I have this opportunity. I really just need your support, you know what I'm saying? And help me get through this tour. And you know, I got you covered. Don't worry about it. And I'm gonna give you some time on the set. Just come help me, hype me, help me get through this country and let's rock. 45 days. It was a little, you know, it was a lot. But it was definitely something that I felt like, damn, this is the moment I've been waiting for right here. And we got out there on the road and we was good friends before, but yeah, that's my brother now, man. Spent 45 days with somebody, you learned all the things you like and don't like about
Right.
him. And we got a lot of just similarities, music wise, trauma wise, and just, you know, but I'm thankful for him because he believed in me enough to include me in this huge opportunity. I'd never downplay that or even not express how much gratitude I have for that. I owe whole lot to Highway for including me on this, and it was an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, and I saw two of the dates, and I mean, y'all killed it, and not just saying that. Highway 2 impressed the hell out of me. So you know, I was fans of both of you right away after that first show. So
Appreciate that, and we just continued to elevate because if my first show in Farmington, man, I was winded and the elevation, and I was just like,
yeah,
damn. But then we got into a groove, and so when you saw us, we had fine-tuned things. But
yeah.
after that, man, we had a conversation with Dizzy, and he was like, you know, I think y'all could tighten it up just a bit and do things and kind of coordinate. And we started doing some moves the same way and different things. And oh my goodness, by the time we got to the last leg of that tour, that third section where it was, oh man,
Mhm.
we was in sync.
So the song "Go Grandma," I got to talk about it. Just great. You know, it's a song about obviously your grandma. Just a positive but fun, obviously relatable. You know, how did that idea come up?
So my grandmother's been just, you know, very instrumental in just my life for you know, since I was young. You know, spent some time over there, went to school for a year and stayed at their house. I was always close to my grandparents. And so my grandfather had a stroke in, I want to say it's been about 12 years now, and I was coming back and forth to help my grandmother out. Got to a point where I was coming out here so much, I was like, you know, she mentioned possibly being closer. She said it'd be easier if you were closer. My grandmother's real stuck in a way. She didn't really want the help of any random person, but you know, she was like, "Hey, if you were closer, it'd be easier." I was like, well, maybe that's a move we need to make, and it was scary because I had lived in Sacramento for 20 years, and so to come out here was a big change for me and my family. But it was definitely, you know, one of the best decisions I ever made, and I came out here and helped take care of my grandfather for it might have been a year, and then, you know, unfortunately he passed. And so my sole mission has been to make sure that my grandmother still feels like she has a reason to live and have something to look forward to. We go out and we enjoy each other. I'll take my kids over there to bring some joy to her. So we was already close before, but moving here, and I'm 5 minutes up the street, I could walk to her house if I wanted to. Just brought the closeness in. And so, you know, she's one of my biggest supporters, been one, and continues to support me everything I do. Even if she don't care for it, she's still gonna jam it and give it a chance. And so she asked for a song, and she was like, hey, you know, you done made all this good music, I want a song. Yeah, can I get a song? And so I was like, Okay, I got you. And sometimes I may procrastinate when it comes to records, and not even procrastinate, but sometimes I'm just not in that mode to where I can fully articulate it the way that I feel like it should be. And so I put it off for a bit, and she came to me one day and she was like, I don't think I'm gonna be alive still whenever you get done, when you get to my song, but just in case I am, I have a picture that I want you to use, and I would appreciate that you do use this picture. And I was like, oh no, she said, I've given up on my song.
Oh,
I've
oof.
given up on it. Damn.
Damn, yeah.
Gave up on it. Like, you don't think I'm gonna do it? I went home and wrote it that night. And I wrote it, and I just wanted to make it as, it wasn't for nobody else but her. And the elements that I'm talking about is directly to her. But I wanted, and she said, I don't want no sentimental, sad sounding, I love you grandma song. She's like, I still got 2 feet, I still can move around, I want to dance. So she was like, make sure that it's something that I enjoy. And we actually went through some beats, and she kind of gave me like some different feels
Wow.
on what she enjoyed, like tempo wise, and I picked one night, and I did what I did to it, and she loved it, and I had no idea that it was going to resonate with the world the way it did until like I just saw it start growing wings, and I was just like, yo, this might be something special right here. And the feedback started coming in. I was like, yeah. And then it was only right that, I talked her into doing the video. She wasn't necessarily with it at first, but then she agreed to it, and that just made the song that much more special. And now it's a memory that I have forever with her, and for her to be able to not feel like I gave up on it, like while she was still here. And unfortunately, a lot of the records that people make about their grandmothers or grandparents are "I miss you" records. They wait till too late. Why
Right.
that's why that hit me in my soul when she said that I gave up on it. It's like you wait too long. It's like
Mm.
your grandparents don't even get to smell the roses while they're still here. They don't get to enjoy that appreciation you have for them. So I'm glad that my record showcases that I still have my grandmother. She's hitting shows with me. She's on stage dancing to the song, like she's enjoying it. She's able to enjoy it, and that makes me happy that I was able to.
And another thing I ask everyone I interview is crazy show memories. Did you ever have anything just crazy happen at a live show? Doesn't necessarily have to be from this last tour, just ever. Something bananas.
Yeah,
Because everyone has one.
like I said, my name is Hennessy, and so it's a lot of alcohol and craziness involved. Okay, I remember one. I lived in Davis for a while, and so I have a venue in UC Davis that I frequent and go rock shows at, and so I was throwing a show there. Word of advice to anybody throwing a show: do not hand the microphone to a random person, because you never know what they're going to say or what they're going to do with that microphone. And so there was this lady, and she was a little tipsy, and I'm in my moment, and so she just was like, "Hey, I want to say something," and I don't remember what she said, but after she said it, she threw the microphone like into the crowd, like just crickets were in there, because it was just like, did that really just happen? And if it was a dude, it might have been a different situation, but it's this lady, and she just didn't even know what the hell was going through her mind at that moment. But it was definitely a jaw-dropping experience, and from that point on, you don't get my microphone anymore. I'm not passing it to you, because I don't know what you're gonna do with it. But that's a mild version. I've had some wild turn up memories way back in the day, but yeah, that one definitely stood out.
Another question I like to ask everyone is, if you were given an infinite budget, who would be one or two dream collaborations?
I'm going with I'm an Eminem fan. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, I don't care what the rest of the world thinks. Eminem is one of the greatest MCs to ever touch a microphone. And so I would love to go back and forth with M on a record. I think that would be
New music. Are you working in any new music right now? Anything coming up?
absolutely. I have a project with a guy out here in Vegas by the name of Art Science. We have a record that we're pretty much done with. It's just scheduling to get it finalized. And so that will probably be the next project that I put out. Um, I started Glass Half Full as a series, and so I would definitely like to do a volume two to it. I just want to do it right. I also have a Nostalgic, which is a album that I dropped not too long ago. And so the producer that I worked with on that has we've been in talks about doing another one with more of a 90s theme to it. And so I'm definitely looking forward to doing that. Um, and just yeah, I definitely got some features I need to catch up on, and so and yeah, I don't know where I'm gonna go from there, but I think that the next step that I do as a solo artist is gonna be the Glass Half Full Volume 2, and maybe have some more of the darkness in there, you know. Glass Half Full has its points in there where it talks about some of
Mhm.
my struggles and depression, but it doesn't really capture it like I could dig into my past and really do. I really, you know, I think that I could do that a little bit more on going forward on the next volume. So that's what's next for me. I don't have you know, a release date, but I've definitely started on it. And so it's just gonna take some time, you know, or two.
Another song, the one, about your dad too, just a deep. I
Oh
love those
man.
type of songs where people open up, bare their soul.
Oh
Um,
man, that's one of my most personal records and very very important to my story. That part of my story is very huge in how I was raised and even the mentality that I have to this day. And oh man, I cried when I made that record. I cried when I laid it down. I cried driving home listening to it. Like it definitely brings, you know, a lot of emotions out of me anytime that I listen to it or even talk about it. And so I'm definitely looking to shoot a video for that really
oh, yeah.
soon. So that's going to be you can be on the lookout for that because I definitely want to capture that the way that I feel like it should be.
And the radio show, how did that come to be?
Radio show. Okay. So, oh man, 2015, I feel like it was. I was big in the scene and you know, I had been throwing shows and me and my good brother Dirk Dig, we had been doing a lot. We were Cali boys collectively. We, you know, were just I mean, we were at the top of our game. We was definitely, you know, making noise in the city. And so one of the DJs and hosts that was were doing a lot of the shows that we were doing decided to come together and put this radio station together. And so I believe it started in Sacramento, and then I think they took it to San Francisco, like City College for a minute. And so they brought me and Dirk on as a guest, and we got in there and we had an amazing interview with them. And the chemistry was just there. And then they moved back to Sacramento, and they were like, "Hey, well, we want to put together this station, and we want to bring on different personalities and grow this into something, you know." And the host, his name is Mickey Tilts, came to me and he was like, how you feel about, you know, being a radio person? We want to bring you and Dirk and we want y'all to be hosts. And I ain't never gave no thought to being no kind of radio host. I don't like hosting in general. When people ask me to come host their show, no, I'm not your guy. You know what I'm saying? I get up there and rock the mic, but as far as just like coming up with things to say just to fill in time, and I ain't got that kind of. I don't really like talking to people in general, you know. But I'll do it, you know, if the opportunity arises and it's something I want to do. But I never given it any thought, and so when presented with that opportunity, I had to think about it and was like, huh, I don't know, you know, but I definitely decided that maybe it could be something that could be beneficial, and I saw in it that I could give artists a platform and not have to go through the big corporate machine in the city who's not playing you unless you know somebody or you pay them a certain amount of money. I was like, I can provide this to artists in the city, and that is something that I would want somebody to do for me. So why not? Maybe I'm the person for it. They see something in me that I didn't see. So let's go ahead and do it. And so 2015, me and Dirk started the show, and we did that, I want to say 3 years maybe. We did the Cali Boys radio show. And then you know, me and Dirk had a difference of opinion on, you know, the way that the show should go, and he decided to not be a part of it anymore. And so I was discouraged at first and was like, you know, maybe that's the end of my run. But then I
Right.
was like, something was in me was like, no, you're supposed to be here right now. This is where you're supposed to be at. And so I was like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna do it myself. And I started it up, and oh man, I've gone through so many different co-hosts over the years and just trying to get it right. And it's been a long run, but it's definitely been a great experience being able to provide that opportunity to artists, being able to play my music and have it heard by the network that I've created, but more for the artists. just to give them a platform to be heard on. And like I said, it's been a journey, and we've gone through a roller coaster ride, ups and downs. But I feel like where we're at now, even though it becomes difficult sometimes because I'm in Vegas and Doe's in Sacramento, but now I fly out to Sacramento once a month and we record a bunch of shows and then just kind of drop them shortly after that. But yeah, it's wasn't something that I thought I'd be doing, but here we are. It's 2024. We almost at the 10-year mark, and so I feel like it's definitely something that I was meant to do.
And pluggables, where can people find you on social media, online? Give them all that.
Social media, everything is Henny Holyfield. You see it behind me, so you don't get confused about the spelling. Henny Holyfield, I think it's Mr. Henny Holyfield on TikTok. I feel like it's NorCal Hennessy on Twitter, which is because I don't really use that, and so it's probably outdated. I need to go on there and update it. But TikTok and Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, every platform that you listen to music on, Henny Holyfield on everything. If you want to go back and listen to some of my older music, you can look up Hennessy, and I've got an album called Top Shelf on there, and I've also got an album called We Make Hits on there as well. And so I haven't learned how to merge everything into the same space, but all you have to do is just send me a message, and I'll definitely tell you where you can find everything at.
And I wanted to point out those flash drives with the boxing glove. Fucking genius. Just genius. Dopest flash drive I've ever seen. So, and it works perfect.
Thanks, sir.
So
yeah, no, I mean, I ain't never been stingy with the plug. Alibaba.com. Go on there. If you have a theme to your name and you have a vision on what you could create, because truth be told, people ain't listening to CDs like that no more.
Right.
We got to find a way to keep up with the time, and it was hard at first, but once I realized what people are listening to, and you can just plug that thing into your car, I was like, okay, well, I gotta find a way. And so yeah, I encourage each and every one of y'all to take your name and theme it and go and take that idea and go on Alibaba.com, and there's tons of people on there that will bring your idea to life. And I would love to see that for everybody, because I think it's a great idea to have your trademark available in that way.
That's why I thank you for coming on. Keep making the music you're making. Like I said, I'm a grumpy old man, so it's hard to win me over, and you definitely won me over. Every time I think that the hip hop I grew up loving is, falling down, I'll see people like you, and it, gives me hope again that there's people still repping real hip hop, making music that everyone can listen to, and is not just doing the same old thing. So nothing but respect and love for what you're doing. So I'm glad I bumped into you at them shows, so
likewise. I'm glad y'all
no
decided
doubt
to come to a second show as well, and then
Right.
connect online, and I respect the authenticity of your platform as well. And so I'm thankful to be a part of something like this, to be able to talk about real hip hop, and to I definitely need to go back and check out your catalog and some of your interviews. That's something I'm meant to do, but be juggling. But at the same time,
life's busy.
I do respect what you're doing as well, and I appreciate you for including me in it.
All right, have a good night, man. Peace.
Yes, sir. You too. Peace.
Still a B-boy, from the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East Coast to the West, B-boys worldwide, we supposed to be blessed. Still a B-boy, from the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East Coast to the West, B-boys worldwide,